is happening.
Yeah!
What's up and welcome back to another episode of Staff Inspection. Today we're back on the C10 and we're in the final stretch. Just got to get some finishing touches done as far as making this thing mechanically sound and drivable so we can actually get it over to the alignment shop, get it driving straight, and then get it to the dyno so we can get it on the rollers and tune this thing so it runs properly. We know we're getting enough fuel, and we'll see if we have any problems. Since the last episode, we've done a few things. I installed a Motion Raceworks 4-way vent kit. It makes use of all 4 steam vents. Let's see, what else has been done? Oh, really important. Had some buddies come by and we took and modified the drive-by-wire pedal to make it work, and I've left it unpainted so you can see where everything's been done. So it took a little bit of finessing, a couple pie cuts, and then had to straighten the actual pedal out to get it to work, but it does work. So of course we got the Moon Eyes footprint gas pedal. So this came off Vinny's C10 and he gave it to me kind of like a passing of the torch. So should I happen to sell or ever get rid of this C10, I'm gonna have to take that thing off. We're gonna have to pass it down to the next person. So for the things that we have to button up today, we're gonna put some brake lines on this. So I had some brake lines made by Mitch over at Deering Industries, so thank you, Mitch, appreciate it. And we're actually gonna change the look a little bit. I went back to Detroit Steel Wheel and I picked up some brand new D-Town smoothies, and they're off-white, so it's like a satin, almost like pearlescent, but not. Looks sick. So that's gonna look really nice in this blue looking all trashy. Okay, so the first order of business today is I'm gonna get these brake lines in. Now, I decided to run soft lines for a few reasons. One, it's gonna be quicker. 2, less things to go wrong with perhaps me screwing up a flare or fitting of some sort and having the thing leak and not stop. Plus, Brian's entire Nova is soft lines, so can't be bad. So, let's begin. That was simple enough. All right, so I've got the lines running to the rear and the rear brakes in. Don't judge me for the zip ties. It is merely a placeholder, if you will. I want to make sure that these work, there's no leaks, and then we're going to find a solution to permanently hold these to the axle that's not a zip tie. Last night, I went and put all the brake lines on, and one of the things I wanted to check was leaks. So what I did was I took and filled up the master cylinder, tightened everything down at least to where I thought, and then I just let it flow downwind to see what happens. Now, as it turned out, we had a bit of a leak. So I'm gonna go through, check all the fittings, then I'm gonna take and use this bad boy. So this is a reverse brake bleeder. You're basically filling all the lines from the calipers because air travels up and trying to force all the air into the master cylinder. So basically how this kit works is you got this little pump here, got a hose that goes into your brake fluid, and then this guy attaches on to your bleed nipple. Okay, the brakes are what I assume bled. We've burped them, bled them, pumped more fluid into them. So now here is the test. I'm gonna see if this thing will move under its own power and stop. Now I got Diego back here to make sure that this thing doesn't want to just roll off the dock.
I'm the e-brake.
That's right. The he-brake.
The e-brake.
Alex here is gonna run camera. Thank you very much, Alex. New blood at Hoonigan.
I don't have the Diego strength to hold this truck behind.
It's all right, you can hold this camera. Okay, here we go. good to move this thing under its own power. Call that a win for tonight, and then tomorrow we'll come back and start finishing up some more stuff. Attention all Hoonigans, this just in. Sign up for Notification Squad and be automatically entered in to win the DC Shoes Pro Spec 3 FIA certified kicks worn by Ken Block during 2 of his wins in 2013. They're signed by Ken. You can't buy these anywhere. Head on over to Hoonigan.com. Sign up for Notification Squad. If you're already signed up, you're already entered in to win. All right, we're back here. It's another night with the C10. We got our main man Ralphie in the building. Ralphie and I are gonna get the trans cooler mounted, so this has been kind of put off until the very end here, but we can't drive this thing without it. So it's kind of a last necessary mechanical piece for this thing to be like functional enough to drive. That's not finished, it's just functional. The last couple nights, I've kind of worked on some stuff here and there to fill you in. I did make a new intake, which, you know, super simple. This will probably change as well, but went over to Pegasus Auto Racing and got all of the stuff that I needed for that. And, you know, I wanted it to match my coolant lines that I had made. So they sell all this stuff. They basically sell everything that you need that you always forget about. Mounted a K&N air filter, of course, because, you know, can't drive without one of those. Sucking in a bunch of dirt and dust into a brand new engine probably isn't the best idea. Put the dash in. My homie Mitch from Squarebody Swap Meet came through, hooked up this really clean gauge bezel, so fit right in, of course. Way better than my old one. It's all just clapped out and just been resprayed a bunch of times, not even sanded down, you know what I mean? So guys like that really like come through in a pinch because they can find basically everything you need. So I'm actually going to be posting a lot of my old stuff from this build on Squarebody Swap Meet, so check them out on Instagram. Get to this damn tranny cooler. So, tranny cooler's run, lines are all run. Now all I gotta do is wire it up to for the fan to work. And yeah, little pieces at a time. Ain't that right? You know what he said. Call it quits for the night. We'll get back to this tomorrow. Keep chipping away. Okay, we are back up and running. Got some friends with me. Got Andrew from Painless Performance stopping by. You know, he popped in, say what's up, drink some crispy boys. But more importantly, not that you're not important, we got my man Tanner here.
What up?
What's up, dog? You guys may remember him from Building Battle, where he came in, got all the truck and the RX-7 line. So figured to have him come back, get me all kind of squared away so we can start street driving this thing and log some miles so we can get it tuned. While he is doing his thing, we're gonna get these Michelin PS4s mounted up on these new Detroit steel smoothies we got going on. And then we're gonna go out and drive this thing. And hopefully not get arrested because it's so fucking loud. All right, so we had to throw a bunch of shims in the in this side over here to take some camber out of it. So you can see they're all nice and bam. So yeah, basically with these old trucks, you gotta shim them to add or take away caster and camber.
So we got the cambers even. It's 2 1/4 and 2 1/4, and then this caster was really high, so we have a big shim in there. And it's almost there. We're at like 7 and 7.5. So we're gonna do another, maybe a couple little baby shims to try and get this one down to 7, and we'll tow it.
Cool. All right, so she's all squared up. Should be good to go. Last thing left is a little test drive. Okay, so not sure where we cut off at the last point, but I was gonna drive this thing, and as I was pulling it out of the lot, I noticed something. My oil pressure was dropping very low. Started getting a warning light from the Dakota Digital gauges, which freaked me the f out, not gonna lie. What I did was first panic horribly, call a bunch of friends, try to figure out what the hell is going on. Here's what we found out. I pulled the intake off. I needed to check the oil sending unit was bad. Because one thing I kept reading was that you don't torque these things down, and I torqued the shit out of this. It was torqued on so hard that I actually had to use a pair of vice grips to get it off. And just even once I got the intake off, I could see that there was just oil coming up through here and like all around it. So that's probably not good. We're gonna change that out, put a new one in, and see what it does. All right, so we got her all back together. Everything's plugged in. What do you say we fire this thing up?
It's time to go.
All right, fingers crossed this was the solution. Otherwise I'm gonna lose my shit. All right. No leaks? We good? Okay. Oil pressure is reading at 55. So, you think it's unsafe to try to test this at night? Test time.
Gas temperature's here, oil pressure, engine coolant temperature, air intake temperature. Alright, as far as air-fuel ratio goes, it only reads what the PCM is commanding. So by California standards, it commands a 14.7. It's good for emission standpoint, but not to make power. Now, if you want to read what your truck is producing, you need a wideband sensor, which is what we're gonna have to put on suspension.
Okay.
But as far as this goes, oil pressure, trans temp, coolant temp, air intake temp, of course your RPM, your mile per hour.
Oh, so you can read trans temp?
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, nice.
It's at 86 right now.
Nice, so should we just go putt this around, see what it does?
Let's go have some fun.
Right here, you hold on to that.
Alright.
Oh my god, this is so loud.
So far everything looks good. You don't have any sort of like knock retard or anything like that. Alright, so this is basically our log file after our little drive. Down here is our pre-recorded log, and these gauges up here tell you our highest value. So the fastest we went was right under 60 miles per hour right here. We went no more than 4,000 RPM. Our temperature got to like 197-ish, where that's where our fans turn on, which is appropriate. Our trans temp got to like about 150. So everything so far looks pretty good. You only went up to 60% throttle. From here on out, we send it to someone to actually check what are called the fuel trims. It's how much fuel the computer is taking or giving to it. So later on, you go on the tune, adjust these trims right here on the computer, so it runs at optima.
I see. We've got to do this a couple times and send this data to Texas Speed and have them check everything out, see what they're thinking, and they're gonna actually adjust some parameters for me. And then we can be driving this thing, man. And then at a later date, we're gonna get this on the dyno and really dial it in for LA driving.